All right, my name's Connor Murray. I've been in enterprise software sales for 7 years now at a Fortune 100 company. I started as an SDR and worked my way up to where I currently am as an enterprise account executive. And it was this schedule that changed the game for me and took the SDR job from what felt like a grind to get the results I wanted to putting things on autopilot, working way more efficiently, getting better results with far less work required. So in this video, I'm going to go in more depth than in detail than I ever have on this schedule and how it changed my results for the better. So I'm going to cover first why a daily routine is so important, because I don't think a lot of people realize just how important it is, what it should do for you too. Like when you're creating a schedule and a process for yourself, what do you want it to accomplish? The same way CRM systems, I hear things like, how do I use HubSpot? How do I use Salesforce? Where you should more be asking, what do you want these tools to do for me? I'm going to show you the AB email and call cadence. I reference this a lot on my channel, and I'm going to go into more detail than I ever have. I'm going to show you a real example, a screenshot of what my daily schedule looked like as an SDR and how you can replicate it for yourself, and then how to optimize this process for yourself going forward. So let's get into it. All right, the importance of a daily routine. So there's three key reasons in my opinion, and the first one being maybe obvious, it gives you daily structure. It allows you to wake up knowing what to do rather than having to come up with what to do each day. When I was an SDR, this was a killer. And I was an SDR manager for 2 years. And what really slowed people down is when they would show up, they'd get to their desk at 8 a.m. and they'd think, what do I need to do today? What lists do I need to build? Am I going to email people or call people? What am I going to say to them? And it just causes so much friction. And next thing you know, it's past 10 a.m. and you haven't even gotten started and you don't know whether what you're doing is efficient or not. So you want to give yourself something to do without even thinking about it. Like when you sit down, you physically just have to move your hands because you already have everything in place and know what you're going to be doing. I always reference this Steve Jobs analogy. It's a bit extreme. You don't need to do this, but you only have so much mental energy per day and before it starts to drain. And he used to line his closet with the same black turtleneck and jeans, and that's what he would put on every single day because he didn't want to waste 5 minutes thinking about what am I going to wear today. You don't need to go that far, obviously, but it's the same thing in the SDR job. It just massively reduces stress and anxiety too, which is something I hear a lot from people in the industry. I know I experienced this my first 2 quarters as an SDR when I didn't really have a consistent process for myself. I would sit down Monday morning, generally not know what I was going to do that day, never mind the week. And that's when the stress and the anxiety start to kick in, and it just makes everything less enjoyable. It burns you out and makes it harder to get better results. Important reason number 2 is it gives you a reference point. It's something to build off and measure. When you're getting results, you have more of a feedback loop as to why you're getting those results. Or if the results are lower than you were expecting, you can look at your process and say, did I follow it every day? Did I send enough emails? Did I make enough calls? Did I do the things that I planned out, or did I miss? And is that why my results are either lower or maybe they're better than expected? So you just get more context with your weekly and monthly results. I always use this gym analogy too. Most people, if you've ever followed a workout routine, whether it's to build muscle or maybe you've trained for a marathon or something, it's a lot more efficient when you have a consistent routine in place and you know what you're doing on which days. So that when you show up to the gym, you don't need to think, what am I going to work out today? Legs, arms, what exercises am I going to do? Sure, you can go to the gym and do that and make progress, but you're just going to make progress at a much slower pace and you're more likely to burn out and quit when you're not getting the results you wanted. And it's very similar in the SDR job in general with both cold calls and emails. Sure, you can show up, make some calls, make some emails, you might make some progress, but you're going to get a lot better at both when you have a more consistent routine in place that's designed to help you be more efficient. And then reason number 3, I don't think a lot of people take this one into account, is it really can improve your internal brand. So in a few ways, it's something you can speak to if the results aren't what you want, and there's been a lot of layoffs the past couple years. God forbid, hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but if you're not getting the results that are expected of you, at least you have something you can speak to. It protects your downside. If things are going well, and I know this is what happened to me and I've seen it happen to a lot of SDRs, is when things are going well, generally management starts to say, what's working? What are you doing? Can you teach it to the rest of the team or the organization? It's a great way to build your brand and get a lot of exposure and start to prepare yourself for promotion, because a lot of you, I know it's not everyone, but a lot of you are SDRs hoping to promote to that account executive role. This is one great way to do it. Because another thing, the number one question you'll be asked, and this doesn't go away when you're an AE, but certainly when you're getting promoted or looking to get a promotion to an account executive, the number one question is, tell me about your sales process. And if you can clearly articulate, here's how I structure each part of my day and why and how I've optimized it and continue to, you're basically hired at that point. It's obviously not a guarantee, but like that's the number one thing they're consistently looking for, hiring managers, is that you can clearly articulate your process. So double clicking a little deeper, I brought this up at the beginning. What should a daily schedule do for you? I think it's some basic things. It should reduce friction in your day, like I was just talking about, so that when you sit down, you know what to do. All of those little side things that you would have been doing, like building lists, or do I email, do I call? You don't have to think or waste any mental energy on that stuff. And therefore, it should increase your efficiency. One of the main things is it should help increase your volume and your consistency. When you're an SDR, most commonly your metrics are around the number of meetings you set and the number of those meetings that convert to opportunities. I see things like anywhere from 15 to 25 meetings per month that a lot of you are expected to book. Your schedule should help you. You need to deliver a lot of volume in order to hit those types of numbers. So your schedule should help you do that at scale, consistently, while maintaining a high quality. So we're going to go into that. It should also give you a benchmark and more predictability. When I really got this process and schedule down, I generally knew, it was never a guarantee, but I generally knew within the first 2 to 3 hours of the day when I had done enough activities that would give me the expected results that I needed. Yes, it wasn't always a guarantee, but generally once I got a certain amount of emails out the door and made a certain amount of calls, I could expect a certain amount of results with predictability over time. And then it should help you feel like the job is on autopilot. You start getting better results with less work. It doesn't mean you work less. It just means it doesn't take as much effort for you to get the results that you desire. So your schedule, another way to look at it, should not be complex. It should not prevent you from doing these things. Volume and consistency trumps any sophisticated cadence. Less is usually more, simple is better for all of the reasons above. Complex cadences are generally red flags, and unfortunately, it's what I commonly see taught. This is a fake example, but I see people's cadences. A lot of times it's what their company gives them or what they themselves put together, and it's like email a list or a contact day one, then call them, then send a LinkedIn connection the next day, but no note yet, and then a voicemail if they don't answer the next day, then send in a link, and it's LinkedIn note. And it's like, it's so hard to keep track of that. A schedule should be easy to implement and easy to be consistent with and not have to cause you to think too hard. So now we're going to get into what that can look like. So this is an example, a basic example of the AB email plus call cadence that I preach. And it's what it sounds like, the AB. It's essentially email, call, email, call, email, call. Nice and simple. We can make it more complex over time if we identify opportunities to, but in general, this is going to get you the type of results you want just by keeping it simple and consistent like this. It's essentially an every other day cadence in a couple of ways, which I'm going to cover in a second, which makes it very easy to keep track of, which is important. So you want to start slow and get used to going through the motions. I always tell people, don't try and boil the ocean at first. Like anytime you start trying to implement a new schedule or a new cadence, it's gonna feel a little awkward just because you haven't gone through the motions yet. But once you go through a cycle, you start to see, oh, like this is how I can actually, not necessarily fully automate, but how I can wake up and have something in place to do every day. And then over time, as you get more efficient at it and it becomes second nature, then you can increase the volume and even the number of these cadences. You don't even have to just wait to do one at a time. So here's an example. I tried to color code it to make it easy, but it's essentially, like I said, an email call for 2 different lists. So in this example, Monday, the first thing you do when you sit down that morning is you're going to email what I refer to as Group A. So if you've seen any of my other videos about coiling the spring and why that's such an important process, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but it's essentially you want to make your lists up front first. Make your email templates and cold call scripts that are targeted for those lists up front first. For example, making a list of finance personas in the banking industry and then making an email template that's targeted for finance people in the banking industry so that when you send it out to all of them, it's very likely to be a targeted email template. I'll link to a video where I go more in detail on that. But when you sit down, that's the first thing you're going to do. And notice how I said group A. This is a question I get a lot. It doesn't necessarily need to be one list. If your list of finance personas in banking is only 37 people, then you should move on to another list, because the follow-ups are designed to be agnostic to what the specific persona or industry is. So you could send it to 5 lists. Ideally, you want to be sending an hour to an hour and a half of emails. I'm going to show you more of an example of that schedule on the next slide. But email group A on Monday, and then you're done. Tuesday, the first thing you're going to do is email a different list. In this case, let's call it HR personas that work in insurance. We're going to email group B. Now what we're going to do later in the day is call group A that we emailed yesterday. Wednesday, the first thing we're going to do, follow up email 1 to group A. So you can, and then call group B. So what I want you to see here is how it's an every other day type thing. So let's just look at group A for a second. On Monday, they get an email. On Tuesday, they get a call. On Wednesday, they get an email. On Thursday, they get a call. On Friday, they get an email, and so on. And it's the same thing with group B. On Tuesday, they get an email. Wednesday, they get a call. Thursday, they get an email. Friday, they get a call. And it's the same thing. You kind of rinse and repeat. The first thing you do when you sit down each day is go into your sent box. A lot of you can just automate this stuff. I still do it manually myself, but you scroll down and you basically go into your sent box and look at what emails you sent 2 days ago, and now you know what next step in the cadence you need to implement, whether it's follow-up 1, follow-up 2, follow-up 3, and you get to a point where you start running multiple cadences at once. So let's just take group A, for example. Email, call, email on Friday. So on Monday, you're going to call them. You're sending follow-up email to group B, but then look, it's Monday again, so you want to email a new group A. The follow-ups are designed to be mostly copy and pastable, so it's not like this takes an hour or two to send out the follow-ups. It's a lot of them are just copy and paste. You can be done in 20 minutes and then email a new group A, and you can start running multiple cadences at once. The better you get at it, the more you can ramp up the volume. But let me know if you have questions on this in the comments. I know it can be hard, but I tried to color code it to show it's just every other day, and then you can layer in a little more nuance as you start to get used to going through the motions and identify opportunities to do so. But now we're going to get into what an actual example could look like. One second, let me get my head out of the way. All right, and as you can see, I'm recording this on the 28th. It's Christmas week, so Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. It's also my birthday on the 27th, so big week. So you can see this is how I personally went about it. Maybe pause for a second and take a look at what I actually show here, but I was personally always an email guy in the morning. So I'm not saying this is the only way you can do it. You could switch and do calls in the morning, because I think the early morning is the best time to both email and call, especially email though, because I've found that if you email within this 8 to 9:30 time window, that's when people are a lot more likely to read your email. They're not in meetings yet. They haven't gotten their day started. So personally, I just was never able to get myself to cold call first thing in the morning. I think email was a good way to warm up my day. So on Monday, this is just a visualization of what I showed you on the last slide. You can maybe click back and forth, but Monday, I spent the first hour and a half a day emailing group A. This middle piece, just getting ready. Like, you could just keep emailing, but in general, once I felt a little burned out from emails, took a break, coffee break or something, just get myself ready to call group B. So that's generally, this is the time of day that I spent cold calling right up until lunch. If I was on a heater, I would just go straight through lunch, but I did block off lunch for myself. Now the next day, this is where you can start to layer in some complexity over time, but in general, I'm planning what I'm going to be doing the next day. So getting that email list ready so that when I sit down on Tuesday, I already know who I'm going to email. I spend this time, maybe I have some internal meetings, meeting with my account executive, maybe making some more strategic outreach to people who aren't on these lists, but that's generally how I spent that next hour and a half, and then getting myself ready to call, again, same list, group B. Because if you're doing email right, you're going to send more emails than you can make calls. It's not like you're not always going to be able to call every single person, but that's why I like to do 2 call blocks to give myself the best chance possible. But really, my structured day was generally email morning and then 2 different call blocks with a block in the middle to plan out my next day. Now you'll see at the bottom here, I put LinkedIn. This is optional, but generally that was when, like, I went home, I was watching TV. That's when I would pull up my laptop and worry about LinkedIn. For the main purpose of the cadence, I don't really use LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn messages can actually inadvertently lower your results and the chance that they respond to one of your emails, because now they just see that you're another LinkedIn salesperson in their inbox. So I actually usually didn't even send LinkedIn messages to people I was running the Cadence with, just random people, just not even putting too much stock into it, just seeing if I could book some extra meetings. But Tuesday, now when I wake up, first thing I'm going to do, email group B, and then notice how it's call group A. So the days that one group is getting an email, they're getting a call the next day that they're not getting an email. So calling group A, day is structured exactly the same. Now Wednesday, don't do this on Christmas, but follow up one to group A and then call group B. 26th, Thursday, follow up one to group B, calls group A. And you can see it's the same thing every other day. Now, not every day is going to be perfect like this. Obviously, you're going to have some maybe you've set meetings, so you have to take some discovery calls, or you have internal organization type meetings. This is just the general structure you want to try and get done each day. If you only get 80% of it done or 90% of it done, that's a lot better than getting 10 or 20% of it done. You just want to have this stuff laid out. So this is how this is an actual example of what I did as an SDR that really accelerated my results and reduced a lot of the randomness and started to put things on autopilot. So you can pause this, copy paste it, try and implement it for yourself, tweak it, make it your own based on your company and your particular schedule. But this is a very basic example that will get you results if you implement it. Then when it comes to optimization, the better you get at it, you're going to identify some of those nuances I was talking about. And whatever process you implement at first will not be the process you use 3 months from now, 6 months from now, at least hopefully not, because hopefully you're making it better. So the process will constantly be evolving. So one way is to increase volume. Like I was mentioning, the more comfortable you get with the process, the more second nature it becomes. You can start to run multiple of these cadences at once. You can sort of start to see how you can run multiple of them and just look at where the next list, depending on what the last message you sent to them was over email, what's the next step in the cadence. You can also strategically work with your account executive or executives, if you have multiple, to be more targeted in the list that you're picking. Which accounts are better targets, which particular industries are more likely to lead to opportunities. That's going to change for everyone depending on where you work. Introducing nuanced changes, but be careful. Like if you identify opportunities to add a little complexity to the schedule, which you will, you should implement them, but just be careful, because when you start to stack them up, you get away from the simplicity that made it so effective in the first place. So just be careful with that one. Don't introduce too much change at once, but there are opportunities to change the times a day you're doing something and things like that. Another way to do this is take time zones into account. So this is one of those things I don't recommend doing out of the gate so that you don't overwhelm yourself. But remember how I was mentioning early morning's the best time of day to generally get people on the phone? In me personally, I'm in Eastern time. I generally didn't like cold calling in the morning, but I would make lists so that that call block that was at 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., I would purposely call accounts that were on Mountain time or in Pacific time so that it was early morning for them and I was getting that early morning cold call effect. Same thing at the end of the day too. If you take time zones into account, you can increase answer rates, but that's one of those things you'll get to over time. You don't necessarily need to start out with that. And then you should be split testing email templates and the follow-up emails that you're using, because small differences, particularly over email, can make a massive difference. Don't change too much at once again, but test a couple different templates, test different follow-ups, which ones are getting more responses. And then improving your cold call scripts over time too, which a lot of that is just comes down to your tonality and your confidence, which we go into a lot more detail in other videos on this channel. But that's the schedule. A, B, A, B, A, B. Keep it simple. Every other day, call, email, call, email. Refer back to this as you're implementing it yourself and just take it one day at a time and implement what's there. If you want more hands-on guidance actually implementing a cadence like this and coming up with the scripts and the templates that you can plug and play as you go, check out the links in the pinned comment below in the description as well, where we do just that. But hope you enjoyed. If it helped, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.